In this video, I sit down with music theory expert Tommaso Zillio of musictheoryforguitar.com to discuss and demonstrate unique ways to solo on acoustic guitar. Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and what you're about to see is an excerpt from a live stream I did with Tommaso that focuses on cool ways to solo on acoustic guitar using open string riffs and runs. In this lesson, you get a breakdown of a very cool and unique way to create great sounding solos on guitar. First, I demonstrate this soloing concept via a blues before pulling apart a few key riffs so you can see exactly what is going on. You then learn the best and easiest ways to get started with this great guitar solo sound. Watch until the end of the video for a very special free ebook audio I've created for you that goes into this soloing approach in more detail. Now, before we get into the stream, I've got to apologize for the sound quality. It's not the best, but it's certainly workable. And the COVID hairdo I was rocking at the time, well, that's questionable, so I apologize for that too. Anyway, let's get into it.
We were talking before this interview, and Simon, you were showing some time ago, by the way, and because that's something I've seen from you more than once. And since you guys may not know, but Simon and I go way back. Okay, it's more than 10 years we know each other, I think. And despite being on completely opposite sides of the globe, okay, but Simon has a number of super interesting tricks for playing on acoustic guitar. Some of them I've learned, some of them I still struggle with, okay, but you were showing me that thing with the open strings, okay, and would you like to do that? Would you like to play that thing for us and then super slowly explain what you do? Because I know that, I mean, the first time I've seen it, it was mind-bending for me. And then only when you slow down a lot, I was like, oh, now I get what he's doing. So would you show us that?
Sure. So I'll just play some stuff to demonstrate it first, and then we can break it down and, you know, whatever you want to do with that.
Wow. Okay, so here's the thing. The first impression looking at this is like, it actually looks fake because your fingers are barely moving and you hear all this stream of notes with big intervals and stuff, and your fingers are barely moving. So, I mean, I've met you. I've seen you do this live, okay? But even when I remember seeing you live, I'm like, no, that's not true. It's not really moving his fingers. So could you take maybe just the very beginning of it and dissect it for us note by note so that we have an idea what's happening? And again, not so much, maybe we can also learn it, but it's just to see what's the idea behind it and why it sounds that way.
Okay, so the basic principle is, first off, to playing keys that have a lot of open strings in them. So I was in the key of G to begin now, or G blues, so G mixolydian for the most part. I was following some of the chord changes, but so you know, that's got a lot, like all the open strings are in the key of G, right? We've got E, we've got B, we've got G, D, A. So they're accessible. So because the basic concept is, if you've got an open string note in the riff, then play it with an open string, not a fretted note. Most times, I mean, you might play some fretted notes that are open strings in the riff too. It just depends how it sort of works out. So if I take a little riff, this. So if I play that riff just with fretted notes, okay, it's going to sound like that, okay? But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, which notes can I, you know, what are the open string notes then I replace them with the open strings. So I see that instead of this little slide into G sharp and then going to this E note at the 9th fret on string 3, instead of playing that as E fretted, I'll play it as an open string. Okay, and then F sharp, and then here's my D sharp. Instead of going to the E again, which is the next note in the riff, I'm going to play an open string again. So instead of this, I'm going to go, and you can hear that resonating sound, and of course my fingers aren't going to be as busy, like you said. That doesn't look like you're doing a whole lot, because you're not. Because you're eliminating a lot of the fretted notes. So, and so as that riff goes on, we've got this little third harmonies descending and ending with the 6th harmony there. That's the tail end of that riff. So any of those notes that are open strings, that can be open strings, I want to replace with open strings. So first off, I got this D to B on the 4th string. So that B note on the 4th string, I'm going to play as an open B. So now I don't need my 3rd finger to do this. I can just play with my 1st finger and the open. And then the next, instead of going down to the B here, which I would do if I was playing a fretted version, 4th fret on the 3rd string, I will go, and then this little slight, typical little bluesy riff here, in a slide from G to G sharp, and what do I do there? Oh yeah, instead of going from the G and sliding into G sharp, I play the open G and then the G sharp, and then I finish that on a fretted E note. I could finish it on an open E string, but I just prefer the sound at that point to be a fretted note. The concept is to replace the majority, if not all, open string notes that are there, that are currently fretted notes, with open strings, and you'll end up with a really cool sounding riff. If you're in the key B flat or E flat or something, you're not going to have many.
So it seems like half the battle is knowing what keys to use, and planning to use keys that have the notes in the open string, so E, B, G, D, A, and E, or maybe changing the tuning. Okay, but so you're gonna use mostly, definitely. But so you're gonna use mostly keys like G, D, maybe A, okay, C, okay, and the relative minors, because those are the keys that have more of those notes. So here's a question I would have, Simon, on this trick here. So are you painstakingly planning every single phrase, or you got so familiar with this idea that you're able to pretty much improvise using this idea? What it is? Because my first thing is like, this is gonna take a lot of planning for me to do. Which one it is?
Well, it's kind of both. I've spent considerable time over the years planning it out, thinking, okay, let me do an open string version of this melody or that melody or this solo or that solo, and as you do it more and more, you get more familiar with how it sort of fits under your fingers. There's patterns, and you go, oh yeah, okay, that's this sort of thing. Often, a lot of the time when you do this, you're either going to have notes that are constantly changing string, so you don't often get notes on the same string consecutively. So if I'm playing up a scale with the open string approach, I didn't play any 2 notes consecutively on the same string in a row there. At no point when I play this scale do I get 2 notes consecutively on the same string. So once I've played on one string, I'm changing to another, then I'm back, and it's and you get that it contributes to the tone of the sound as well as the open strings. But you can and will get notes consecutive on the same string, right, in a row. And when you do, I tend to continue the smooth sort of sound. I will always, I think pretty much always, legato those notes. I'll hammer on, I'll pull off, I'll slide the notes. So there's another way to play this scale that I played here. So that's another position I can play it where I do get some notes on the same string. So I'm going to legato when that happens. But then I will also still get notes that, you know, move back and forth between the strings. So there's these patterns and this, you know, formula, if you like, that tends to reveal itself to you when you take a riff and you identify the notes that you want to swap out and replace with the open strings. You just want to you want to make sure that the open string you're replacing, or that you're replacing the note with, is in the same octave. So if I've got a B note here, yeah, I've got a B open string, but it's not in the same octave, so I'm not going to replace that B note with the open string. So there is that, let's say, more sort of painstaking way to go about it, but it does get easier. But there are ways that, you know, there's plenty of stuff that I will do that I won't work, sort of reverse engineer it from a fretted riff. So this sort of riff here, I would have no idea how to, I could work it out, but I can't play that fretted. You know, that's just a little idea that works really nice. And it's sort of born from this approach. I mean, I can go into this if you like, in terms of the easy way to do this. Like, what's the easiest way to do this? So if you want to play around with this idea and have something that can be sounding great, you know, very soon, it's this pentatonic approach. It's kind of the basis of that riff that I played there. And so if I play in the key of E minor here, and I take, let's say, pattern 2, okay, in E minor pentatonic scale. First off, I'll talk about the picking hand. So this banjo roll. So I'll, you know, as I say, thumb, index, middle, or thumb, index, ring finger. You can decide what feels good, but you want to get that rotation. You don't want to use the same finger twice in a row. That's not going to be efficient at all. So it's a rotating thing, and this becomes machine-like. You've got various patterns that'll play, but a lot of it is basically a banjo roll. And what that is taking your thumb and plucking a string, then following with your index and your middle fingers. That's a forward banjo roll, ascending. And I can take that and work it up the string set. 6, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and I can bring it back the same way. Middle, index, thumb, middle, index, thumb. So I'm going up and I'm coming back down. Okay, that's the basic approach with the picking hand. And I mean, you can take that and just apply it to chords, and that sounds good. But if we take that banjo roll pattern and we apply it to the pentatonic scale, there's a pattern here, I guess you call it like a little sequence in the pattern that's going to bring in the open strings. So basically what I do is pattern 2, I take the second note on the bottom string of pattern 2, which is under my pinky, 5th fret, and I play that with my thumb. That's the first part of my banjo roll. I take the first note of the pattern on the next string, which is under my second fret, first finger, and I play that with my index, and that's the next part of the banjo roll. And then that's the open 4th string in this case. So you got 2 pentatonic notes and an open 4th string. That's all you're going to be doing as you run up the pattern. You're just going to go 5th fret, 2nd fret, 5th fret on string 6, 2nd on string 5, open 4th. And then you go to the next string set, 5th string, 2nd note of the pattern, 1st note of the pattern on the 4th string, and the open 3rd string. So now we've got, and then I'm following the contour, the shape of the pattern here. So when I get to the 4th string, it's also the 5th fret. It's the 2nd fret also on string 3, and then the open 2nd string. So now when I get to the top 3 strings, I've got to bring my 2nd finger into the 4th fret because of the shape of the pattern. 1st finger plays the 3rd fret, on string 2 and the open first string. So now we can ascend that pattern with the banjo roll, a consistent pattern in our picking hand, and a consistent sequence happening here in the scale shape. Right, so you can run up the pentatonic pattern with the banjo roll, and then you can bring it back down. You'd start with the fretted note on each of the strings, the first one of the two on the top string, the second, and then the open string, and you can come down. And the great thing about this is that it works on any of the pentatonic scale patterns in keys like E minor, A minor. So if I play it up with pattern 3, exactly the same thing, only following the shape of pattern 3, it's going to sound different because the open strings are remaining constant, the notes are getting higher. So I could work my way up to pattern 5. It sounds different again, pattern 1. So, you know, you get all different sort of nuances from one shape to the next. If you like this video, then you'll love this ebook audio I've created for you called Unique, Refreshing and Unpredictable Sounding Fingerpicking Riffs for Your Acoustic Guitar Soloing. In this ebook, you learn the open string soloing approach, plus a number of open string riffs and runs you can use in your own playing. First, you get the method down. Then you learn some really cool sounding open string riffs born from this unique approach. You also learn how to connect these riffs together in various ways to create some great sounding guitar solos. There'll be 2 solos I'll walk you through in this ebook that demonstrate how to inject this style into your own guitar playing. So click the link below in the description of this video and download your free copy of the ebook audio Unique, Refreshing and Unpredictable Sounding Fingerpicking Riffs for Your Acoustic Guitar Soloing. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you would like to see covered in future videos. I read every comment and I would love to hear your suggestions. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the all-important notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. As always, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your time and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.